Getting meetings, cold prospects, has never been more difficult to accomplish. In this video, I'm going to explain to you a somewhat controversial strategy that you can use to get your C-level prospects or any level prospects to happily meet with you. Ready to go? Let's get into it. All right, so it's super common for B2B businesses to run outbound campaigns and ad campaigns and spend all sorts of money with one goal: to book demos or discovery calls with potential prospects. Conventional thinking says, I'm going to run campaigns on Google, or I'm going to run campaigns on Facebook, and I'm going to spend, $1,000 or $2,000 a week so that I can get enough meetings to fill my sales pipeline. And when you do that, let's just use a simple example. You're going to spend $1,000 a week on your campaigns, and your goal is to get 5 prospect meetings per week. So basically, you're paying Google or Facebook roughly $200 for every prospect meeting that you get. Well, I got an easier idea for you, and it's an idea that I've been testing myself for the last while with some success, and it was an idea that was given to me by a guy who's used it to build a $30 million business. He simply gives the money to his prospects. Now, you might think, well, that's crazy, but hear me out. So the strategy is very simple. In my case, I offer a C-level executive anywhere from $225 to $350 in the form of an Amazon gift card to take a 30-minute meeting with me. Now, you might think, well, that's just nuts because everybody's going to take the meeting and they're not going to be really qualified or interested. I'm not suggesting that you take these meetings with unqualified prospects. All I'm suggesting is that in your outreach, you say, hey, I really need to get your feedback on some research that I'm doing. I want to be able to ask you some questions and show you what we've built so far so that I can get your help. Some phraseology or some words that sound kind of like that. And then you're going to offer to pay them. Now, when they say yes, and they do say yes, I don't automatically send them a calendar link to say, hey, go ahead and book with me. What I'll do first is I'll qualify them. I'll reply with an email saying, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me. Just so that this is a good use of time for both of us, I want to get the answer to 3 questions or 2 questions or whatever your couple of key qualifying questions are. Get those answers, and as long as those answers line up with what you would expect from a qualified lead, then say, great, you're ideal, you're the exact type of company that we're trying to attract as a user or a customer or a client. So here's my booking link, voila, do the booking, do your meeting just like you would do any other sales or demo or discovery call, obviously keeping within what the expectations that you set when you communicated with them in advance. So if you said you're going to ask them some questions and then you're going to show them what you built so far, that's exactly what you're going to do. Now, you're going to find there's a couple of real significant benefits to this. The first benefit is in your outreach, you actually don't, in conventional outreach prospecting these days, you can't really use templates. You got to use highly personalized emails to make people know for sure that you weren't just, spamming 1,000 people and saying the same generic thing. When you start offering to give them money to meet with you, the template approach actually can be effective, again, if you word your template correctly. And if that's the case, savings number 1 is you can automate all of your outreach instead of either taking yourself or a rep or a virtual assistant's time to do the research that is necessary to be able to write those 2 or 3 sentences, that custom intro that is very laborious to do. So you don't need to do that anymore. So that is a significant benefit, and that helps you to get an ROI on the money that you're spending. The other thing versus an ad campaign is you don't have to worry about all the copy and the creative and the landing page and working on optimizing the landing page and putting heat tracking software on there so you can see how far people are scrolling and more optimizations and split tests. That's all a lot of brain damage that you don't necessarily need to do. And you're in an environment where CPMs and cost per clicks only ever go one way, and that's up. That's all they've been doing for years, is going up. So you're insulating yourself from that as well. And then finally, when these folks, and I've had this happen, especially when you're asking for help, because you're phrasing this like you've got a product that's not fully fully baked, it's not fully finished yet, and you're looking for feedback or help on what you're building, which is why I say I want to ask you some questions and show you what I've built so far. Now, my product's pretty far developed, but it's not finished. We're always adding more features. So to say, show you what I've built so far is 100% true. So the last benefit is sometimes folks will say, hey, Trent, I'm happy to meet with you. And don't worry about the gift card. I don't need that because they're interested to see what you're building. Or perhaps in the case I had one where the gentleman got back to me and he said, I actually think that I've looked at your website. I think that there's an opportunity for a two-way partnership here. So yes, I would absolutely love to meet with you. At the end of that call, I said to him, hey, just email me your home address and I'll go ahead and send you the gift card. Guess what? He didn't bother to do that because the conversation that we had was very productive and valuable for both parties. And honestly, I think he would have felt a little bit guilty taking me up on the original gift card offer because he was kind of pitching me on why we should be partners, and it was a mutually beneficial conversation. So that is my advice to you on how you can make it a whole lot easier to get your prospects to meet with you. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would help other people to see this video by smashing that thumbs up button. If you have questions or comments, please leave those down below. And if you would like to see future videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that little bell. Thank you so much. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.